Hi guys and welcome. Welcome to my channel, Berke Creations Podcast, which is a knitting podcast, but sometimes a little bit more. And today we're gonna have another chat and knit episode where I'm gonna talk about my knitting resolutions for the year coming. My name is Jofi or Sophie, and I live in Transylvania. And today I am on our homestead. And I am outside. It's -1 degrees. The date is the 21st December, and it's the winter solstice. So happy solstice to you all. Maybe you celebrate and you honor this day. I wanted to honor it with climbing up on a mountain and a hill, and just perhaps podcast there. But when I drove to the foot of the hill, I realized that the whole thing is in mist and in the fog. So then I decided I just drive to our land and just try to connect a little bit with nature and focus and let this thing get done. Like, it's important to have resolutions. And that's why I wrote everything down in my notebook. And I am very happy to share this with you. Perhaps some of you will be inspired. And maybe you want to share with us your resolutions. So feel free to chat in the comments. But I'm going to also open a Ravelry group thread on this topic, because I think it's very important. And now on winter solstice, I think it's a great moment to set intentions, not only just in our knitting but in our life. So yeah, and perhaps light a candle. So before I dive into it, there are two things I have to talk about, right? First of all, what I'm wearing. So maybe you know this one, you already see if you are a returning viewer. So hi, welcome back. And if you're a new viewer, welcome. This is the Arboreal sweater by Jennifer Stenges. Then I'm wearing a cowl. This is a hoarfrost cowl by Ninja Chickens. And I'm gonna actually felt this cowl because I saw Inga of Knitting Traditions podcast that she felt her cowls, and I think it's a great idea. So I want really much to try that, and both of these items are knitted in Latlopi, so they're gonna felt without problem. And my hat is kind of special one because it's knitted in, the main color is in Angora, and it's very light but super warm. And the pattern is Incandescence by Anna Johanna, and it's in her new book. And I don't know the name of the book, I forgot, but I will link everything down below. So I test knitted this for her book, but unfortunately all the patterns will be available only in the book, so no patterns on Ravelry, I guess. And the other important thing I want to mention, and please stay tuned because I have a lot of nice resolutions to talk about. So, but before of that, administrative stuff, or please join the mini Xmas Ornaments Mall. And there's a thread in the Ravelry group for the finished objects. So I'm going to draw a price from there. And I decided to extend the deadline until the end of the year. And anyone who knitted an ornament in this month, in December, it's welcome to join. And the other one, I have a giveaway running, and that's going to be extended also until the end of the year under the Fairy Lights knitting video. And there in the comments, I am expecting from you to answer the question, what would you like to hear in Hungarian in my podcast, right? So now that all that is out of the way, let's dive into the resolutions. And I have 1.5 pages of them in my booklet and 15 points to talk about, but I'm gonna go very quickly and fairly fast through of them. So the first one is to stop test knitting, and I felt this since the summer. I was thinking about all these resolutions already from the summertime, and I felt that my attitude towards test knitting, it's like when you imagine the situation when you're very hungry and you go food shopping and you buy all the unnecessary and way too much food that you need. So sometimes I find myself that I do this when I'm test knitting, that I jump on a project too quickly, and then later on I'm not so much in love with it anymore. So, and it takes a lot of time. So, and the next year I'd like to focus more on what other projects and what other things I want to do. I'm going to allow myself a little escape window here, and that's to do maximum 2 test knits if there are some challenge in it or some other things I can apply from my other rules, right? So I have currently 1 test knit on the needles, and that's due to end of February, but I will be much more cautious to apply to test knit. So this is for a very important personal goal for me, to just not to jump into it just so quickly, just give it a time and see if I really want to do this, and if I can learn from this project for sure. Then number 2, I want to knit from what I have, and many of us, I guess, we have so many patterns, and we receive so many free patterns, mostly when was the first lockdown. So many designers gifted free patterns, and I have so much accumulated, so many gorgeous patterns accumulated. So I really want to knit from those, and especially if there are designers that I have more than 2-3 patterns from. So, and this is true for some of them. So definitely I'm gonna have the emphasis on those patterns and on those designers. Then number 3, it's no more yolks. So no more yolks, because I don't like so much anymore the yoke construction. I think it doesn't fit my body so well. Like I have a kind of broad and shoulders, and the yokes, my yokes tend to sometimes run up like this, or mostly if I wear a jacket or you do like this. I don't really like this kind of situation going on. I think I mentioned this before, but that was my fault. And my nightfall cardigan, which is finished now, and you will see the next episode, it was interesting because it has a yoke, but after that it has also some raglan increases, so I'm very curious how that's gonna behave on my body. So yes, no more yokes for the next year. Hopefully I can stick to that, but I allow also here for myself a little window of escape, and that would be 1 yoke pattern, but that's knitted from bottom up. And my 4th point would be to try different constructions. So this can be applied here. So different constructions, yoke, but from bottom up, because up until now I only knitted from top down. And the other point can be applied here. That's like from a designer that I have more patterns from, and that is Jennifer Steingass's Winter Soul pattern. I think that is from bottom up, and I still have a few patterns left from her in my library. So yes, as I said, number 4 is to try different constructions. And I have here 3 points on that. It's first of all the ziggurat method. I'm really curious about this method. I heard about it many times, and I think Asa Tricossa has this kind of patterns. Let me have some coffee, cold coffee. I hope you have something to drink too. So ziggurat method, first of all. Then the other one is there is a pattern in my library. It's called Curvo, and I'm gonna link everything I talk about down in the description box. I did not check right now the designer, so sorry for that. But I'm mentioning this pattern because I decided I'm gonna cast on this tonight. So this is gonna be my winter solstice cast on. And then for different constructions, I have here the designer Jennifer Beal, and she has so many sweaters with a really interesting method of making them, and really new kind of constructions for me. And I have so many patterns of her, because once I test knitted for her and she gifted me not 1 but 3 patterns, and I even bought some patterns before from her, so I think I have 5 or 6 patterns, and I really want to do at least one of them, like something which is different constructions for sure. Then I have another cluster of 3 here, so then we are at number 5. And number 5 would be to have more shawls, because I kind of lost myself in the past 2 years in knitting sweaters and cardigans, and I only have 2 shawls. So I want to have more shawls, so number 5. And then number 6 would be to learn brioche. So I could do a brioche shawl, right? And then number 7 is actually Steven West, because I want to really try something crazy from Steven West. So why not to have a brioche shawl from Steven West? So in here I can merge 3 of my goals in one project. But probably there are gonna be more shawls. I hope I'm not talking too fast, but I just a little bit want to rush here, because my camera can only record 28 minutes at a time, and then after they will stop and I have to press the button again. And I don't want to edit now anything, and I don't want to merge these videos to just straight hopefully tonight for the winter solstice celebration, and for your cozy pleasure in your home. It will be up on the YouTubes, and you can enjoy and you can think about these resolutions together with me. And I also like to invite you for the next year to join me in these resolutions, and be there and engage and share. So I think having a thread in the group, that will be amazing. So please go and check out our group. Then we are at number 8 already, and number 8 is also very big for me now. It's things for the bottom, I call it. And that would be leggings, pants and panties. So I already have 2 skirts that I made, and there is one more on the needles. So with the skirts, I guess I am fine. But I really want to have leggings and some kind of pants, in knitted pants. And then I was thinking, maybe why not to try out panties? Maybe it's gonna be a fail and then I'm gonna hate it, or maybe I'm gonna love it like my knitted socks. So that's a big one. And the number 9 would be try marling. So I could actually do some leggings with the marling technique. Why not? So that's again goes very well together. Then number 10, it's another huge goal, I think. It's to do a vintage project. So maybe you saw that the past year or this year, vintage projects are coming to life, and mostly because of Voolenvine's knit along about vintage projects or make along. And I want to try also my skills in this, and see if my English and my knowledge in knitting terminology is enough to read such a vintage pattern. Or maybe I will have to try a vintage pattern that is already redacted by another knitter. But we will see. A vintage project for sure. And I was thinking something for the summer. So something lacy or cute with short sleeves. very vintagey with interesting bubbly sleeves perhaps. We will see. I'm sure I'm gonna podcast for the next year for sure, and I'm sure these points will come up from time to time, and my projects will be focused on this list. So number 11 is knit from books. I only have 3 books right now, or 3 booklets actually. One of them is an issue of Pom Pom with a nightingale sweater on the front, and I bought that because I try to choose a book or a magazine, and I buy it when I like more than 3 patterns from it, right? So because then I know that I have a great value, right? I would definitely make 3 patterns or more, and then the price, it's worth it. So I got to that pom-pom issue because I really like almost all of the patterns from there. And then I have 2 more booklets from Rowan. One of them is more Martin Story patterns, and the other one Sarah Hutton. So definitely I want to knit from my books, at least from one of them. And then number 12 would be to knit with cables. So then I can merge these 2 points again, number 11 and 12. And I'm gonna knit from the Pom Pom booklet the nightingale sweater, which is a cable sweater. So that's a great, and I think I was dreaming about that pattern for a long time, and I really want to do it in blue and dark blue or navy blue. We are so close to the end. I hope you really enjoyed this scenery, and sorry for moving so much around. It's kind of cold here, and my coffee got cold. So yes, number 13. Number 13 is very, very, very important for me, and I encourage for you this too. And this would be to finish one work in progress every month. So I counted my works in progress, which are left on the needles or left sleeveless or one sock perhaps, stuff like this from the past 2 years, and I have a little bit more than 12. So I think 12 or 13, something like this, so, or 14 I guess. But in this way I decided for sure if I finish one work in progress, all the work in progress every month, then I can get this out of the way. And it's very sad when you knit a whole jumper and you don't have sleeves for it. So I have like 2-3 jumpers or sweaters like without sleeve. So that's pretty sad. And I have a few other projects which are older, and I run out of yarn, but I will try to find a solution for it. Maybe find this yarn again, or just rip back and make it a little bit smaller and finish it that way. So yes, very important to finish the works in progress, or maybe it's just frog it. If I frog it, that would count also. I just don't want them to take up space in the corner or in my craft room or crafting corner in the bags. They are in the bags there waiting to be done. So yes. Then number 14, and I guess I left all the important ones at the end. And number 14, and this is very, very important, because my knitting journey, right, and resolution, it's because I want to evolve and step higher in my knitting career, my personal knitting career for myself. But I want to challenge myself, and I want to learn new stuff, and that's why I made this list. So number 14, and for how can you challenge more your brain and your skills, like designing your own garments. So I have 2 garments for a very long time now in my head, and I draw them up, and I just really I'm really excited to get onto it and try it and do it. So number 14 would be to design my own pattern, or my own, just to do my own design. And I'm very excited for that, and please stay tuned. Tell me if you have this urge, or you have this creative this creative urge to express yourself like this way, because maybe you heard me saying it's great to knit from patterns and you can learn so much from patterns, but the best, I think, it's to do your own patterns and challenge your own brain and your own skills to come up with, to first of all to dream of something that no one else did before. So the possibilities are endless, and by designing your own garment, we can be gods in our knitting in our knitting project. So yes, we are the president of our knitting, right? Okay then, and number 15, and this is something also very dear to my heart. So I teamed up with Gabriella of Merriweather Knitting Podcast, and because I heard one of her first episodes that she is interested in making one garment from the book Tudor Roses by Alice Starmore, and I had this on back of my mind for a long time now, for a while, and I just asked her, maybe you want to do together a knit along for this, and that would be so great. So we actually started the conversation and making up the rules and how it should be, and I think you're gonna hear more about these details in the beginning of the next year, because this is a whole year project for the next year for us and for you guys together with us. So so knit one garment from the book Tudor Roses. So I already ordered the book and it's on its way, and this is how I'm gonna treat myself for Christmas. And if you thought about this maybe for many years now, and you'd like to challenge yourself with such a delicate and elegant and interesting projects that I believe are in this book, then maybe you want to treat yourself also with this book. So, but stay tuned for that, for our knit along with Merriweather Knitting for the next year. So there are more details to come to this. It's just a little heads up for you guys from me now. And I want also to mention this, and I will say it again, don't forget about the mini Xmas Ornaments Mall. One moment, I am finished now with my resolutions, alright? So the mini Xmas Ornaments Mall, Gabriella also joined in, and she made a beautiful little blue bird, and I'm so glad that other podcasters do this, and also Carrie for my Voolenvine podcast, she made some stars, so I'm waiting for them to have them in the finish project thread. And Carrie has also very sweet voice, and she's such a kind, respectable, so thoughtful, sensitive woman. I really enjoy to watch her podcasts, and she has a sheep, and she calls them my girls, and you can learn so much. She has so much knowledge about these animals, and you can learn so much with her. So I'm actually, these days, I am watching her podcast. So go and check that out too. And, I talked so fast. And it's already more than 20 minutes. So, wow. I hope you enjoyed this power through of my knitting resolutions, and as I said before, I invite you to engage with us and with me on this subject. So please check out the group and comment below, and thank you so much for being here. Ooh, it's so good to be outside finally. I haven't been outside for a couple of days, and I haven't been this outside from out of the city for a month now. So I think I needed this to unwind a little bit and just drive up here, by my own. Just spend some time alone. I think this is a good way to celebrate, just in silence in the winter solstice. So now I'm getting a little bit more silent. That's good. I'm gonna spend a few more minutes after I close this camera just around here, and then go back home in the city and do my chores. It's too bad that I couldn't get that hike, but I'm sure that I'm gonna go up there, and I'm gonna take you guys with me as well, because so many of you are excited to know about Transylvania, and that's so good. So the other point I wanted to touch on a little bit is that I realized yesterday when I climbed up on the roof of our house. And I remember that in my younger years, I used to climb up all the time on the roofs. Like, I lived 1 year in Bucharest, and my big hobby passion was like climbing up on the roof in the middle of the night when everybody is sleeping, and you hear that down the city is still bubbling, and things are going on, but up there it's so quiet, and these noises kind of coming from a distance, they are more calming. And my point here is, like, it's important to have another perspective. So if you have to climb a mountain, or you have to climb on the roof of your house to get this perspective, then just do it, because this year it's been hard for us, right? We can agree on that. And you saw in my last podcast I was also pretty sluggish and a little bit sad. So just go and find another perspective. That's my wish for you from the winter solstice day. A new perspective, and the inner calm, and just a moment for yourself to breathe. And thank you so much for being here. I love podcasting, and I love it much more because of you guys, because of your feedbacks. And I will see you right after Christmas with a normal episode about my finished garments and all the good stuff. So, happy holidays, Merry Christmas for you. Bye.